back for day two of the Big East tournament in New York City at Madison Square Garden. I'm posted up at my hotel right now, getting myself a nice little cup of coffee after a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful Thursday evening. This is Rob Dalster, Top Dogs, Field of 68. This is going to be a short one. This is going to be a quick one, but I did just want to kind of give a quick reaction to what we saw yesterday in the Big East tournament specifically, but also with UConn and the way that they played. I thought two things really stood out from that UConn game. Is the first is Samson Johnson in the first half. I thought he was terrific. I thought he provided the spark. I thought it took a half for Donovan Clingan to really kind of settle into the game. He didn't really play his best in the first half, and being able to bring Samson in and get 8 to 10 points from him, get a couple rebounds, get some of that athletic energy, shot blocking, running around, hedging the ball screens hard, all that stuff is just it's so important. It's such a luxury to be able to have someone that can come in and do the stuff that he does, and not have that much of a drop off. He hasn't necessarily been his best since Donovan got back, but just knowing that you have him in your back pocket as a weapon to be able to use is just so incredibly important. And then, I mean, look, in the second half, Donovan was terrific. He was rebounding, he was blocking shots. He had a couple of really nice post moves. He had one where he took a dribble to his left and then had the little drop step and the spin and a little jump hook off the glass over his right shoulder with his left hand, which was sexy as hell. I think Big Bill Clingan was sitting behind me, and I'm pretty sure that I just heard him yelling "mismatch" in the background every time he touched the ball. So that was good to see. That was fun to see, and it was a really, really impressive and dominant performance. I am uncomfortable with how confident I am in what this team is right now. Right. And I was having this conversation with a bunch of people on press row. This is not just me saying this as a UConn guy. I think that it feels like they are the easiest team to buy into. They are the easiest team to get on the bandwagon with. They are the easiest team in college basketball to look here and say, yeah, I feel really good about that team making a Final Four. Yeah, I feel really good about that team making a run of the Big East tournament. Yeah, I feel really good about that team finding a way to win at minimum 3 games in the NCAA tournament. There are ways to beat other teams, right? When you look at Purdue and you look at their guard play and what happens if you climb up in them, you look at what happens if you are able to play a certain way with a certain set of guards against Zach Edey in that drop coverage. If you can take advantage of what Purdue is kind of lacking at the 4 spot. They don't have the biggest backcourt. Like, there are ways that you can kind of sit here and say, okay, this is what you got to do to be able to beat them, right? Same thing with Houston. If you can manage their traps, if you have guards that have size that can throw the ball over the top, there are ways that you can beat them. Like, they kind of rely on you making mistakes, forcing turnovers, being able to get to the offensive glass. That's kind of how they win basketball games. And if you have good enough guards to be able to avoid making those mistakes, then you might have a chance to be able to beat them. Now, it's a lot easier said than done because they're pretty fucking good. Same thing with Purdue. But there are ways that you can kind of sit there and say, okay, this is what we got to do to be able to beat them. I was talking with a couple of the coaches that were there last night, and I don't know what you do against. Look at how they've lost games so far this year, right? They were on the road at Kansas. Kansas shot 9 for 14 from 3, beat them by 4 in Fall Allen Fieldhouse when Cam Spencer had a decent look at it to take the lead with, I believe, like 2 seconds left in that game, right? In Fall Allen Fieldhouse. And I know that Kansas has kind of fallen off here recently, but a lot of that is due to the fact that their 2 All-Americans are hurt. Like, you got 2 All-Americans hurt. What are you going to do? You look at what Creighton did to beat them. Creighton won, I think they made 15 out of 30 from 3. Like, they shot the absolute lights out. Right. At some point, if you're going to have a night like that, there's not much you can do. Creighton also had a great scheme defensively against UConn, which I think makes it a little easier. The Blue Jays, just the way that they match up with UConn is, I think, probably what you need to be able to beat them. But they still shot 15 for 30 from 3 and had a night where UConn couldn't really make anything from the perimeter. That's how they beat them. Or you got Seton Hall, who just kind of beat the shit out of UConn after they had flown all the way back from the West Coast. Steph Castle wasn't back to 100% yet. Donovan Clingan gets hurt in the first half, and it just kind of falls away from there. So that's That's kind of like you either got to shoot the lights out, you got to beat the hell out of them and hope that they are not at their best. And that's the two ways. I don't think you can beat the hell out of them anymore, for the record. We've seen teams try to do that since then, and it hasn't worked. So I think that's what you have to be able to do. And that's not an easy thing to do. And there aren't a lot of teams that can do it. Now, the point that I was making about Creighton, if you have an elite defensive five man, like they do in Ryan Kalkbrenner, and you are as good as they are at being able to get over screens and be able to run people off the 3-point line, that's what you have to be able to do. I think that's the key to beating them is run them off the 3-point line, funnel everyone to the basket, and have the 3-time Big East defensive player of the year at the rim. It's just that's all you got to do. So it's not easy, man. It's not easy to beat them. So I think it's going to be a fun March. I'm looking forward to it being a fun March. I am here for the ride, and the best part about it is, I remember being here last year, right? And I think a lot of people listening to this might be able to sympathize and understand what I'm saying here. I was stressed as hell watching those Big East tournament games, watching the Marquette game. Like that was one of those experiences where the heart just keeps pounding in your chest. When Providence is making the comeback, I remember sitting there like holding my head in my hand saying, this is not what's going to happen. This is not the way that it needs to work out. And I felt that way in the first half against Iona. I felt that before all of the games last year in the NCAA tournament. And I think that I don't feel that way this year. It's been different, and it's because I think UConn is kind of playing with house money. Now, I know that the staff does not view it that way at all, right? They view last year's loss in the Big East tournament as like a disappointment, right? They view last year's not winning the Big East regular season title as a disappointment. So like they have a checklist they're trying to get through to knock some of this stuff off. And that's a good sign. But for me, like watching this, it's nowhere near the same experience as last year. And again, it's because they're kind of playing with house money, right? Like I don't think any UConn fan expected to be here right now, considering where UConn was 2 years ago at the Big East tournament. And I'm still reveling in it. I'm still enjoying every single second of it. I'm still saying like it's still a party for me, man. It's been a blast to watch, and I can't wait for this game tonight. Before we talk about UConn against St. John's, I just want to say that Thursday night's two games, Creighton against Providence and Villanova against Marquette, were as good of a session as I've ever seen at the Big East tournament. And I was at the 6 overtime game. I think I've been to every Big East tournament game that wasn't either COVID or like the first day since like 2009. And that was as good of a session as I can remember. If I'm blanking on something, this is still just a cup of coffee number one. You can tell by the bags under my eyes I'm a little bit tired this morning, but I do think that that was as good as I've seen it. And part of the reason why is the Creighton fans showed up and showed out. There were a lot of them there. Marquette fans showed up and showed out. There were a lot of them there. And obviously Providence fans are going to be there and going to be loud and going to be proud and going to make sure that their voices are heard. But the atmosphere was electric. We had two fantastic basketball games. I mean, the Providence performance in the second half against Creighton was just so unbelievably good. I thought Jaden Pierre was fantastic. To me, he was the best player in college basketball yesterday and the most important guy. Devin Carter doesn't really have that ability to kind of get in the lane and hit those midi pull-ups, right? Carter's hitting threes. He's getting to the rim. He's using that athleticism. He's finishing around the bucket. And that's not the way that you have to be able to play to beat Creighton, right? They run you off the 3-point line and they want you to beat you from 8 to 12 feet. And that's Jaden Pierre's game. And he was hooping yesterday. He was huge down the stretch. And that was a big win for Providence. I think it probably gets him in the dance. I hope it gets him in the dance. I say this as I know I'm talking on a UConn podcast here, but I want the country to be able to see what Devin Carter can do. And I want them to be able to see how good of a player he is. Just because this narrative that the Big East stinks and because they got some bubble teams, like I want Devin Carter to go in there and fuck somebody up. in the first four and just put it on them. Whether it's Texas A&M, go give Texas A&M 35. Go eat Wade Taylor's lunch. Everyone wants to talk about how good Wade Taylor is. Go eat his lunch and send him packing in the first four. Show everybody how damn good this conference is. There is nothing better in sports than tournament time, which is why I need to tell you guys about our partners over at Rhythm. If you're into sports betting, you need Rhythm, the place for data-backed props and picks. For those that are unfamiliar, Rhythm, spelled RITHMM, is the go-to mobile app for player props and game picks. Backed by AI predictive models, Rhythm helps you make smarter and faster betting decisions across all sports, but particularly college basketball. With Rhythm, you get data-backed picks for every single Division I game every single day. Users get free picks daily with the ability to upgrade to unlimited access. If you want to increase your edge and win more bets, go to the link in the description and download Rhythm today. That's RITHMM, the place for data-backed props and picks. And while we're here, let me tell you about our newest partner for the month of March, Splash Sports, the home of certified community competition, where you get to play against your friends and not the house. Whatever game it is that you are playing, from survivors to tiers to pick X, the safest way to play for real money without the hassle of having to track down deposits or worry about payments is through Splash. They have partnered with PaySafe, the best deposit and payment system in the world, to ensure that money stays in safe hands and is delivered to the right places. To join the Field of 68 Survivor Madness, click the link in our profile below and join in. Entries are $5 a pop with a prize pool of up to $4,500. Winner take all. Join Splash and come prove that you're smarter than us. By now, you guys have surely heard about Autograph, an app founded by Tom Brady with the intention of disrupting the way that fans consume content covering their favorite teams. This is how the app works. All of the podcasters, bloggers, and digital creators covering a team have their content sent to that team's page in the Autograph app. Instead of having to bounce from site to site or trying to navigate the safer workspaces on Twitter, you can just scroll through Autograph. This isn't a hard sell. This is the truth. I am a UConn fan, and I use the Autograph app to keep up with the writers I read and the pods that I listen to about UConn basketball. The best part is that every piece of content that you consume gives you reward points. The more you get, the more chances you have at things like discounted tickets to games and the grand prize, a trip to the LA Regional and a spot in a suite for the Sweet 16 and Elite 8 games. Here's the best part. We've partnered with Autograph to donate $1 to the V Foundation every time someone downloads the app using the code F68, with a minimum of $2,500 getting donated. The app is free. So download, use the code F68, help us raise a little bit of money for cancer research, and give Autograph a try. I promise you it will be worth it. And while we're here, a quick reminder, make sure that you subscribe to the Daily. We have new landing pages with deep dives into each coaching change, as well as a tracker that provides scouting reports on the transfers that have entered the portal that you are going to want to know about. Hit the link below to subscribe. And then the Marquette Villanova game was, oh man, I thought for sure Cam Jones got that off. I saw it in real time. I thought he got it off. I was sitting right under the basket. I had the video of it on my phone, and I'm sitting there watching it as we're watching the replay. And I swear it looked like he got it off. Maybe a millimeter, maybe like a 1 millionth of a second that he did not. But he found a way to do it. He found a way to make the shot. He found a way to win the game. That was a beautiful set that they drew up too. I think it means that Villanova is probably out of the tournament. Not the worst thing in the world. They went 18 and 15, whatever. Keep it moving. But yeah, Marquette, man. Marquette, if they can get it going, they've kind of figured some things out here without Tyler Kolek. So they get Providence tonight, which should be another fantastic game, which leads me into what Thursday is going to be. I think it's or sorry, Friday. I think tonight is going to be just absolutely insane. The UConn, the only problem I have with this, I wish they could flip the schedule. I wish they could put Providence Marquette as the 5:30 game and then play UConn-St. John's as the 8 o'clock game, simply because I do expect that like 60 to 70% of the crowd is probably going to be UConn and St. John's fans. And I think that the atmospheres are better when you have the biggest game second because all those people are going to show up at the first half. And you obviously know UConn fans are going to be rooting against Providence, and St. John's fans are going to be probably rooting for Providence because they don't want to play Marquette in the title game if that happens. So that's the only thing that I would change. But tonight's going to be absolutely bonkers. You have the three fan bases that have the easiest path to getting to Madison Square Garden all showing up at the same time. You have Marquette, who, like I said last night, has a pretty big contingent here. And you get Dan Hurley against Rick Pitino. You get Shaka Smart against Kim English. At least in the first game, you have two coaches that do not like each other, that do not want anything less than to beat the hell out of each other. And it's going to be an unbelievable atmosphere. It's going to be an unbelievable night. It's going to be the Big East tournament. This is why I'm here every year, man. This is why we come to this building. This is why I come to this event. I was arguing with some people over at the Field of 68. Like, why do you do the Big East tournament every year? Why can't you come to the SEC tournament? Why can't you come to the ACC tournament? Because it fucking means more here. Because this is the Big East tournament. This is what college basketball, this is what March is all about. I love that every fan base has their traditions when you come here. Every school has the bar that they go to. Everyone has their pregame spot. Everyone has their postgame spot. All fans, like the people that make the pilgrimage here every year, they have their own traditions. You go out to dinner at this place. We go get drinks at this place. We stay at this hotel. We do this. We do this. We do this. And it's unlike any other conference tournament because you bounce around at all these other ones. Like the SEC tournament is for Kentucky fans, basically, right? That's who shows up. That's who dominates these crowds. It's basically home games for Kentucky. The ACC tournament moves around so much, no one gives a damn. It's in DC right now. How many people in DC actually know that the ACC tournament is happening there? It's insanity that they're doing that. The Pac-12 tournament, whatever. There's like 8 people in the building. The Big Ten tournament is in Minneapolis. You should never have the Big Ten tournament anywhere other than Chicago or Indianapolis. So Big East tournament is the only one that does it right. Why would you want to be anywhere else? Why would I not want to be here right now? It's a very good question. Going to be a fantastic game tonight. I will say this. I do think that the key for UConn is going to be dealing with the switching defenses that you're going to have coming from St. John's tonight. I thought it was sharp of Rick Pitino. He started out in the zone last night against Seton Hall because he wanted to dare Seton Hall to shoot over the top of him. And I don't know if he'll do the same against UConn. We can go sit back and watch all the tape of what they've done in the past, and I don't think that Rick Pitino is the kind of guy that's going to do what he did in the past. He's going to try to find a new way. I would not be shocked to see him try to do what Creighton did, where you run everybody off the top of the screen, run everybody off the three-point line, go over all screens, and try to funnel everyone into Joel Soriano. I'm sure he's going to try to get Donovan clean in foul trouble. I would not be shocked to see like the first 3 possessions of the game, the post touch directly to Joel Soriano and see if he can't get the big fella to pick up a foul. Donovan, straight up, okay? Don't jump into pump fakes. Stay on your feet. And if you do that, I think UConn has St. John's isn't really all that good. It's kind of a year where they're trying to work some things out. They're going to try to play faster. They're going to try to get up and down the floor, but it's still a year where UConn is trying, St. John's is trying to figure out exactly what their identity is and who they are as a basketball program. But they're going to get there eventually. Hopefully it's not tonight. All right. I'm getting ready to go get myself a bagel with extra schmear on it. Anybody that doesn't ask for a 1-to-1 ratio cream cheese and bagel doesn't deserve a New York bagel, doesn't deserve to be here. You can get back, go down south where they just use it as a spread. Go do whatever you want. And when you're in New York City, you need that extra cream cheese. You need as much cream cheese as bagel. In the meantime, I'm going to enjoy the rest of my coffee. I'm going to get ready for an unbelievable slate of college basketball games. Let's go, baby. March is here. Friday at the Garden. It doesn't get any better than this. The best month of the year is here, which is why you need to know that we are now partnered with BetMGM. We'll be using BetMGM lines to make all of our picks, and we'll have special offers for the listeners and the viewers of the Field of 68 throughout the conference and NCAA tournament. If you haven't signed up for BetMGM yet, you can use the bonus code FIELD150 and you'll get $150 in free bets on your first wager with BetMGM, regardless of whether or not that bet hits. Here's how you make it work. Download the BetMGM app and sign up using the bonus code FIELD150.
Deposit at least $5 and place your first wager on any game, and you get $150 in free bets regardless of the outcome. Just make sure you use that bonus code FIELD150 when you sign up. And most importantly, we have some fun stuff coming up for the conference tournaments and for the NCAA tournament. Bet insurance tokens, college hoops odds boosts, and what I love the most, a nice little parlay boost, as well as a ridiculous array of prop bets for anything that you could possibly imagine betting on in March and in early April. BetMGM is the king of the prop bet. So go download the BetMGM app, use Field150 as the code, and sign up today. And while I've got you here, a quick request. The best way to support the Field of 68 content that you get here for absolutely free is to engage with it. Rate and review the podcast. Like and share YouTube videos. Tell your friends about us. It all helps in a world where the algorithm is king. And now, back to our show.